Hello and welcome to SportsWire, a weekly talk show from the Garden City Telegram about Southwest Kansas high school sports and Garden City Community College. I'm Brett Marshall, sports editor of the Telegram.
And I'm sports reporter Levi Bernfin.
Levi, the junior college soccer programs have really come into their own lately. You had a chance to cover two of their games last Saturday. Bring us up to date on what's going on with the Busters.
That's right. They both played Coffeyville on Saturday. The men this year got off to a little bit slower start than I think they wanted. But on Saturday, they were able to get a last-minute win on Eric Berrigan's goal in the 87th minute, 2-1 over Coffeyville. And they improved to 8-1-1, now 13th ranked in the country. So I think head coach Charles Long is really liking the progress they've been making this season. For the women, they've been up and down a little bit. They got back to 500, and they feel they're only a couple wins away from making it to the postseason, something they would do for the first time since 2011 for that soccer program. So they're both going pretty well, and I think Charles Long is pretty happy with the way both teams are playing right now.
Levi, the Bronc Buzzers football team, on the other hand, really continues to have some struggles. Big setback at Independence this last Saturday. What's going on?
I'm not sure what else to say at this point. It's going to be a tough period for the Busters. Independence had lost 20 games in a row, and they beat Garden City on Saturday. There's not much else you can say about that. Independence hadn't won a true conference game since 2012. Their last real conference game was a forfeit win over Garden City in 2013 because of NJCAA sanctions. So it was a bad program that they try hard, but they can't compete with the rest of the Jayhawk schools, and Garden City lost to them. Brett, while Garden City Community College was losing on Saturday night, the night before, were able to go to a really great high school game in the area with Scott City and Holcomb.
Well, it seems like those are two of the big games out of the year. Involve Holcomb and Scott City. It was a real barn burner. Holcomb had their chances. Scott City came away with a 15-7 win. They've played each other 13 times now since they got into the same league and same classifications. And Holcomb's only won one time, and that was in 2007, I believe. And Scott City just came up with the big plays when they needed to. Defensive struggle, and again, two costly turnovers for Holcomb. And I thought Scott City's defense really did a good job of containing Holcomb's high-powered offense. Trey Teeter had a really tough night, 10 out of 21 passes, only 75 yards and a couple of interceptions. So a really tough night for the Longhorns in that respect.
Yeah, Scott City just seems to grind on you. They don't do anything spectacular. It's just as soon as you make a mistake, they're capitalizing. And both turnovers that Holcomb had, I guess they had three actually on Friday, but two of them went to touchdowns for Scott City. The only two times they scored all night.
Well, that's true, and I just think, Glenn O'Neill has proven once again to be one of the best coaches. They're very well disciplined, fundamental football. It's no shock to how they do things. They play assignment football, and it's a formula that's worked pretty well for him. He's now 91-13 in 8+ seasons, so a phenomenal record.
Well, and poor Holcomb, they've lost two games in a row now, but it's to Ulysses and Scott City. I mean, you can't do much more than that.
No, and I still believe Holcomb's going to be a force in 4A Division II before it's all over. And, of course, Ulysses is 4A Division I, and they're undefeated. They get Scott City in a couple weeks, and Scott City's in 3A. So, again, they've got three teams in three different classifications coming out of the same league, and it really shows exactly how good that league is.
Yeah. Brett, the reason you were over at Holcomb is because Garden City was on the road to Hayes, and we had our friends over at the Hayes Daily News help us with coverage of that game. What did you hear back from that Garden City's big win over Hayes?
Well, typically this Garden City team has fallen behind early in a couple of games so far, and that's exactly what happened. They got down 7-0 early, and then they started rolling, and their offense just stormed through Hayes High the rest of the game. They rushed for more than almost 400 yards on the ground. Jared Koster had his best game probably ever, 258 yards on just 19 carries, 3 TDs. Scored on a 73-yard touchdown catch from Jesse Nunes, and they rolled 38-14. They're now 4-0, looking pretty good so far. Well, Levi, the Bronc Buster football team hits the road again this week. They go out of state to Iowa to face Iowa Western. national powerhouse the last couple of years. Got off to a rocky start at the beginning of the year. May have settled down a little bit. What are the Busters looking at this next week?
Yeah, Iowa Western, still one of the most talented teams in the country. They're going to be every single year. They did get off to a rocky start. They're 3-2 now. They've kind of turned around. I know they switched between quarterbacks a couple times this year, but they seem to be getting on the right road. Right at the same time, the Busters seem to be on the wrong road. Their Busters have lost 4 in a row now, including that loss to Independence. Going to Iowa Western, even if Iowa Western was 0-5 at this point, it's a tough place to play. Traveling a long way against a talented team. It's going to be a big matchup for Garden City to see if they can get anything going whatsoever. The Buffs also hit the road this week, going to just not quite as far, going to Liberal, just an hour down the road there. What are Brian Hill and the Buffs trying to accomplish this week?
Well, I think, Levi, I think this is one of the trap games of the season for them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Liberals really struggling. They're 1-3. They just got killed by Dodge City 69-0 last week. Really struggling. They've had a number of injuries, including their quarterback. Garden, on the other hand, rolling along at 4-0. It's one of those games you want to go take care of business and not let Liberal hang around. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Garden's going to try to rely again on their running game and their good defense. They've been tough all season long. And this is what Coach Brian Hill had to say about the upcoming game.
Well, I expect, nothing but their best effort. I know that it's homecoming there. I know that they're, trying to find themselves a little bit, but those teams can be very dangerous because you're not sure always what you're going to get, and we've got to be prepared for just about anything. We want to control the line of scrimmage, which I think when we do, we control the game, and we limit the number of plays that our defense has to defend, and I think that's going to be the key throughout the rest of the season. So just looking forward to the kids getting an opportunity again this week and see what happens.
That's a wrap for this week on SportsWire. I'm Brett Marshall.
I'm Levi Burnfin.
This has been a weekly talk show about Garden City High School sports and Garden City Community College sports. You can view videos and interviews on www.gctelegram.com.
Thanks for watching.